What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, and today I'll be updating you on the latest updates on my PS Vita 1000, and I'm so excited to share with you the biggest changes that I have done. And this is probably one of the first Vitas to ever have any type of mod like this here on YouTube. So let's get into it. This video is sponsored by PCBWay. If you're working on any kind of PCB project, whether it's a custom handheld, a console mod, or a new prototype, PCBWay has you covered. They offer affordable PCB manufacturing and assembly with quick turnaround, so you can go from an idea to finished board fast. You just upload your Gerber files, pick your options, and they handle the rest, including assembly if you don't want to solder everything yourself. Check out PCBWay using the link in the description to get started on your next project. So yeah, LEDs, they're all over the place. I added LEDs to all of the buttons here on my PS Vita 1000, and this took me about 4 to 5 hours to complete. And I started doing the LEDs on the triggers. I typically do LEDs on the triggers. I feel like that's such a really cool mod that you can do. Not only that, but it's sound activated, so I have them connected to the speaker connectors, and it works out pretty good. I was inspired by the PS button. I was like, you know what, why don't we do something like that for all of the buttons? And I started with the D-pad, and it worked out great. I had my little drill, got the LED in there, connected it to the left trigger. So then I moved on to the other side, and I was like, I wonder how I can do this. So I ended up doing these LEDs for each button individually. Now, as far as the colors go, obviously I was trying to mimic the regular controllers that PlayStation has, their famous color scheme that goes on the button. So I wanted to do something like that, and luckily I had every single color. Now, as far as the select and start button goes, that one is a little bit dim, and I'll have to go in there and fix that, but I simply just glued an LED on the motherboard module. I just try to mimic what was on the other side as far as the LEDs go on this PS button. And I was looking at the buttons, and I was trying to figure out how that light was passing through the button there, because there's no LED actually on the button itself. So the rubber cover, whatever you want to call it, is translucent, and that's how you can see if your PS button is flashing blue or it's charging via orange light. That was a pretty fun mod. It was draining. It took me so long to do that, and I had so much fun doing it. It could be a little bit too much for some people, but I wanted to just have some fun with this mod, and I can't believe I got it done. So it was pretty cool. Now, moving on, one of the biggest mods that I've made was the USB Type-C port. So I finally got done with that, and it's been on my bucket list. Check that off. and I'm so excited to finally have a USB Type-C port, because I can take this anywhere and use the same charger that I use for my phone for my PS Vita, and I no longer have to carry that other cable, which is so annoying. Because at times when I'm in the office, I have all my cables here and stuff like that, but when I want to take my PS Vita home or on the go, I have to bring that damn cable, and most of the time I forget to bring that cable. And now it's just more convenient that, you know, my arsenal of chargers can support this system. So I'm so excited to finally have that. Not only can it charge via USB Type-C, but it can also do data transfers pretty flawlessly, and it works out pretty good. Now, as far as cosmetics go, I went ahead and changed the back panel that was pretty scratched up. It was my old PS Vita 1000, and this is kind of like a Frankenstein of my original PS Vita 1000, because what I ended up doing was removing the original PS Vita 1000 motherboard, and I swapped it out to a PCH-1100 motherboard, which is the PS Vita 3G model. And I did that because I wanted to have the PSVSD module installed to have that internal storage, and that way I can use my game cartridge whenever I want for physical copies, or have another storage expansion in the game cartridge, so that way I can have more storage for more of my games and just have everything on my system. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Now, as far as storage goes, I have the PSVSD holding a 512 gigabyte SanDisk micro SD card for all of my PS Vita titles and all of my ports, and I have another storage expansion via the SD to Vita adapter with another SanDisk card at 512 gigabytes, giving me a total of 1 terabyte size of storage, which is awesome. So as far as the PSVSD goes, that's where I store all of my core apps. I have all of my PS Vita titles and all of my game ports. And as far as the SD to Vita goes, that's where I have all of my backup for my PSP ISOs, my PS1 ISOs, all of my ROMs, and I have a ton of games. This is where kind of like a starting port where I want to be, and I'm just kind of slowly adding more to it to see how this will perform. And so far it's performing very well, but the only problem that I've been having is that sometimes the SD to Vita adapter will unmount itself. So all I have to do is just go into Vita Shell and just mount the UMAO, and I have it configured properly through the Yamped plugin, which is the storage plugin. As far as the UXO goes, I have it configured to the memory card, and the UMAO as the SD to Vita adapter. So it's working out pretty solid. And finally, I wanted to talk about the battery change. I swapped out the battery last year and haven't really used my PS Vita 1000 that much. It's just been sitting there collecting dust. But we're going to go over the new battery and what this all means. Right now, the lifetime of this battery is 17 hours, and the cycle count is 123. So the cycle is basically one full use of the battery's capacity. So if you go from 100% down to 0% and back up to 100%, that's one cycle. Now, the state of health is sitting at 93%, which is practically brand new. Anything above 90% just indicates that it's a strong capacity retention, with 80% as like the typical threshold for replacements. And yeah, it's looking really solid. And before we end this video, I just wanted to touch up on one software mod. I'm not going to go into too much of software in this video because I just want to specifically talk about hardware, but I did make a boot splash, a custom boot splash of my own logo or my own intro that was created by a fan of mine who wanted to do something fun with my logo, and it turned out pretty solid. Not only that, I like the fact that it has like the sort of glitch of the Hinkaku and the Enzo kind of mixed together in there. I really like that effect, and I don't even know how that happened. It just kind of accidentally happened. I had the custom boot logo going, and then I created my own boot splash to serve as the initial boot splash on top of all the other ones that I've already had. So it was kind of a strange mixture, which I personally like, and I think it fits well with like what I do on my Vita, and the kind of like the hacker glitch going on there in the boot splash was just pretty cool. And so yeah, I will be touching up on how to do something like this on your Vita on a future video. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of those new videos coming out soon. So yeah, that is all of the updates to my PS Vita 1000. I'm looking to do a little bit more. For example, the screen on here is pretty bad. It's a used screen that a customer replaced because it had the orange burnt markings on the screen, and went ahead and got a brand new one, and they just donated the screen to me, and I used it to repair my PS Vita 1000 that was broken. So it's nice to have my PS Vita 1000 back in action, back in the collection, ready to go. And yeah, now some of the updates I'd like to do, or some of the upgrades or mods I'd like to do, is add wireless charging to it somehow. And I know there's a way to do it. I just have to buy the wireless pad, connect it to the battery connectors, and we're good to go there. As far as that goes, I think I would be good with just doing that. I really don't want to go overboard with the PS Vita 1000 and doing all sorts of crazy mods. I've seen some crazy mods out there from some other YouTubers, but I think this is where I would like to be at for the most part. I am looking for a 3G back panel. That's very hard to find. All I can find is the black color. Now, why would I want the 3G back cover? Well, with the PSVSD, there is an extender that you can add to it, and what you do is you plug it into your PSVSD, and then you bring it over here, and you'll be using the SIM card slot to remove your micro SD card. So that adapter is pretty sweet, and it just upgrades your 3G console completely, which I believe is necessary if you do have a PSVSD. So those are the upgrades that I'm looking to get done here with the next month, and probably investing in some analogs, because those just keep going up in price, and I'll see if I can get my hands on some new ones here very soon. So yeah, thank you guys for being with me on my upgraded PS Vita 1000. I'm so excited and can't wait to start gaming with you guys. I'll be streaming a lot more, playing all sorts of different PS Vita titles, so make sure to be on the lookout for that, and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any notifications here in the future. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.